The husband spent $6 billion to buy a gemstone. He was planning to give it to his pregnant wife. Unexpectedly, his wife told him the baby had been aborted because she had to interview for a radio host position. The husband looked at his wife in disbelief. He got up and was about to leave.
아이는 또 가질 수 있지만 오디션은 단 한 번뿐이야.
널 기다리는 게 아니었어.
10 years had passed. With her beautiful appearance and sharp mind, she had become a top executive at the company. But behind all this glamour was the sacrifice of her family's happiness. Ever since the abortion, her husband hadn't touched her for 10 years. At this moment, her mother-in-law suddenly came to the house. Huilan knew today was her ovulation day because her mother-in-law reminded her punctually every month. After leaving the fertility medication, her mother-in-law left, looking at the pills on the table, then at the dates marked on the calendar by her mother-in-law. She sighed helplessly. Soon her husband came home from work. Huilan quickly approached and handed him the medication, but her husband just glanced at it and turned away. That evening was a class reunion. Everyone brought their wives. They all knew Huilan and her husband had a troubled marriage. To keep others from noticing, Huilan deliberately linked arms with her husband. Unexpectedly, her husband actually removed her hand. All their classmates witnessed this scene. Back home, Huilan questioned her husband why he couldn't just pretend, why he had to show it in front of everyone. But her husband told her, "I want you to give up on me voluntarily." Huilan naturally understood what her husband meant. Helpless, she could only numb herself with alcohol. In the middle of the night, she was suddenly awakened by a phone call, asking her to pick up an important guest at the airport for a press conference. Huilan understood that to keep her position at the company, she had to pick up this guest at the airport, so she grabbed her clothes and prepared to leave. Just then, her husband suddenly grabbed her hand. Her husband told her his mother was suddenly critically ill. She only had a few hours to live. The doctor had notified them to say their final goodbyes, but Huilan hesitated.
안 돼. 게스트석 해야 돼. 내가 간다고 엄마가 살아나진 않아.
Her husband couldn't believe these were his wife's words. However, Huilan turned and left without looking back. On the road, Huilan was torn with indecision. She stopped at the fork in the road leading to the airport. At this moment, she didn't know whether to meet the client or to see her mother one last time. In the end, she chose the former. She put the car in drive and headed straight to the airport. Meanwhile, her mother ultimately didn't make it through. She left this world forever. Only her son-in-law was there by her side.